Good. All right. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay today. Was a little bit behind, but here we go. So now that we've finished Taiji Qigong Shibashi set 3, I wanted to present to you one of the core aspects where Taiji Qigong Shibashi came from. Mainly the main system that Professor Lin was practicing before he designed Taiji Qigong Shibashi. And this core system is from the Shaolin tradition. It has a few different names that we can see around. Professor Lin just called it Shaolin Zanzuan. The Shaolin NeiJin inner strength is often one of the main names that is known for it. And that's what I'm going for. Hi, Alex, welcome. So this system specifically works with posture, which allows us to find the balance within our body, allow our breath to settle in, allow our posture to relax and float, and we'll use various posture as we breathe to allow the body to connect. In a certain sense, it's a lot closer, well, somewhat. I guess we could say there's a certain link close to yoga. Shaolin being a Buddhist temple, Buddhism coming from India, there was a lot of the type of health exercise that are rooted in the yoga practice that came from India to China, and that were adapted to the kind of practice that people were already doing there. So the idea of it is to hold a posture for a certain period of time, to force our body to be in a strange position so that we learn to relax into it and to gain the benefits. Part of its benefits come from the stress, the physical stress, not the mental stress, but the physical stress that's being placed on the different tissue through the body, particularly the fascia layer, which is filled with collagen fiber. Collagen is piezoelectric, therefore putting stress on it will start to produce more energy. And holding different posture for a certain period of time while we're learning to relax, to get into a balanced tensegrity, a balanced space of harmonized tension, which allow the body to hold a strange posture for a long time without tension, or without contraction, I should say, versus tension, allows us to slowly build the energy. And there's one particular practice which is fairly easy to start with. It's a sequence of 6 posture, which we'll rotate through. We'll try to do about 1 minute each. If 1 minute is too much, you can just take a little bit of a break and join back afterwards. The idea of those postures really to relax. We'll be working mostly with the upper body. The lower body will remain in the same position as we go through all of it. So I'll kind of help you build it up as we go through to give you a little bit a better idea of where Taiji Qigong Shibashi come from and why they're so, what's the relationship with these position where the lower body doesn't move necessarily, where we have more of a upper body type of movement. Taiji Qigong Shibashi is a bit of a baby between this Shaolin Qigong and the young style of Tai Chi Chuan. The way I see it and the way I present it is that Tai Chi is like the external shell or the form of the car, if you want, but the Shaolin Zanzuan is really the engine that makes the car move. So without practicing the posture, the building of the qi is not there as much as it should be. Movement Qigong allows us to move the qi and remove stagnation, whereas posture Qigong really allows us to build the qi and open up the channel so it can circulate much stronger afterwards. If we have too much stagnation and you try to do only posture, then the building up of the qi will have somewhat of a impact or kind of a fight against your own stagnation, which can create pain and very uncomfortable situation, versus if you really only do, for example, movement, you'll start to remove stagnation, which will give you more fluidity, more softness. It will also free up some of the energy that's jammed and locked into the stagnation, but you won't have the same growth as if you also practice posture training. So this is what we're going to start to look at today. Let me just turn down the screen here. Up. The basic of these posture will still be the same as we are used to in Taiji Qigong Shibashi, meaning we want to have our feet about shoulder width apart, finding the center of our feet, the spot where our weight reach the center of our feet, our knees just slightly bent, our body relaxed, sitting on our legs and allowing deep abdominal breathing to start to settle in. As we fine-tune the positioning of our hips, allowing the breath to reach the lower abdomen, we start to open up the sacroiliac, freeing the sacrum so that it can start to move naturally with the breath, and allow it to ripple through the spine all the way up to the top of the head and back down on the exhale. As we can feel the breath filling up the lower abdomen, filling up the thoracic area, sinking the shoulder blades so that we open up the shoulder, opening up the shoulder well and the armpit. Our arms will naturally start to hang on the side of the body. And already just from this posture, if you're relaxing, you should start to feel the energy start to gather more in your palm. This position is often referred to as Wuji. Without going into the more Taoist explanation, we're basically standing in the most relaxed position we can be, which allows us to be free to move in any way we want afterwards. It's probably the simplest position as far as Zanzuan goes, but it's also one of the most difficult to do properly, simply because we don't have much cues of where are our tension, versus the main posture, the Shaolin system that we'll see in a few minutes, gives us a lot of cues as to, do we have tension side to side, do we have rotation, are we bending forward or back? But as we're standing here, it's a lot more difficult to notice that. So bending from the elbows, allowing the forearm to be parallel with each other and parallel with the ground, gently rotating the palm facing down. Rotating the palm outward, which will slightly open the elbows, making sure your shoulders are not rolling forward, but keeping the shoulder blade sinking towards the back as we push all the way to the lateral line of the body, allowing the hands and the fingers to point down, turning the palm inwards and bringing the fingers pointing just above the iliac crest, rolling the elbow, or I should say sinking the shoulder blade even more, that pulls the elbow behind us, and letting the forearm shoot like an arrow forward and turning it down. My arm between the shoulder and the elbow is almost vertical, just slightly at an angle forward, allowing my elbow, my wrist, and my palm to rest on the air, almost heavier, keeping my spine elongated, allowing all the space in the abdomen to open up so I can breathe deeply. And then letting the shoulders, the shoulder blade be alive and active so that the ribs can open up on the inhale and gently collapse on the exhale. Lower body remains immobile from the waist down. From the waist above, the feeling is light, almost like floating on top of water in a calm lake. Just a little bit of up and down, but very subtle. It's more a question of relaxing and feeling the buoyancy of the arm rather than trying to move them. Palm is slightly rounded. The fingers are relaxed, almost like if you're holding a big orange or grapefruit. Just feeling the ball and allowing the chi to start to gather inside the palm. And smiling and relaxing. Finding the position where you can feel your body with the minimum amount of effort in order to hold this. So you want to observe your body without moving, or moving as little as possible to make sure your weight is still centered at the center of the feet, that it's centered front and back and left and right. That your pelvis bowl is vertical, sitting and resting on top of your legs. That the abdominal cavity is loose, relaxed, allowing the diaphragm to move the organs inside. To feel the rippling passing through the spine, keeping the shoulders open and opening the rib cage. And relaxing on the exhale. For your legs, you want to make sure that the knees are slightly bent, and you want to find the position where your front of your thighs are relaxed. You don't want to feel that the front of your thigh are tensing up to try to hold you. You want to find the position where you're kind of sitting on and feeling that it's more the back of the legs, the hamstring that stretch and support you. And in order to find this, you need to play a little bit with how much bending you have in your knees. If your legs are completely straight, you'll have tension around the quad, tension in the lower back. If your knees are locked, so you want your knees to be just slightly bent. And staying in the higher position like this is probably best for most of you. If you have a little bit more training, you can go into medium height, which is basically once the knees bend a little bit more, reach the limit of the toes, and you just start to sit so that you have the feeling like you're sitting on the edge of a bench. Keeping the alignment between Bai Hui, the top of the head, and the center between the feet. trying to find this floating sensation of the upper body. For those of you who might start to feel too much tension already, I'll do the closing. If you're still comfortable, stay in that position and I'll return into it after. If you need to close, allow your arms to open up towards the side, bending the knees a little bit, and we'll do the last movement of set 1. Inhaling as we rise, turning the palm in front of the face, exhaling as we push down, open and out. Inhaling up, exhale down. We'll do it 3 to 6 times depending on how many times you feel the need to do it. The idea is to bring down your awareness towards the feet, connecting with the ground. And on the last one, keeping the legs straight, gently rubbing the palms together, tapping the back, tapping the legs, particularly the front of the legs if you feel you created a little too much tension, so that the blood can flow and the muscle can relax. And down the legs. There we go. And if you need to walk around a little bit, sit down, take a little bit of a break. And for those of you who stayed in the posture, we'll maintain it a little bit longer. This particular type of exercise could be called more of a Qigong. Jing in the sense of working out the structure, working out the building blocks of the body, versus Qi or Shen in the notion of Chinese medicine. So by maintaining the posture, relaxing into it, and allowing the body to build the Qi, transforming the Jing into Qi as we're holding there. We don't need to try to guide or move the Qi in any way. We don't need to have any specific breathing. We just allow inhale, exhale through the nose, allowing your breath to be as soft and deep as possible. Keeping the mind quiet, observing what's going on in the body, avoiding to be taken by too much thought, staying present. Since it's coming from Shaolin, it has this Chan or Zen, which is more known in the West as its philosophical background, I would say. Therefore, the idea of quieting the mind and observing is at the core of these exercises. At first, you can put on some music or something that keeps your mind a little distracted and busy, I would say, not letting your mind distract yourself, but having something that anchors your mind versus just trying to focus on what's happening in the body if you get too distracted by your own mind. It is often said that you could even practice this exercise by watching TV. If you do so, don't watch soap opera, just watch something that you don't really watch. It's just kind of noise in the area that doesn't really distract you, but feed the silence until you're comfortable with the silence. Kind of like what you're doing right now, watching me on the screen as we're doing it. Don't really need to pay that much attention to what I'm saying as long as you're relaxed and you feel what's going on through your body. So let's do a quick scan, observe the positioning of our feet, making sure we maintain the weight at the center of the feet, that we're not bending forward with the heels about to lift, that we're not too much on our heels and creating tension through our legs, but that our weight is at the center of our feet. Our knees are bent at the height that suits you. Find this relaxation through the legs, both the lower and the upper part of the legs. finding this seated area so that the quad, the space where, or I should say the scarpa triangle, where the blood, the fluid can connect from the torso into the leg, are properly open. For this to be the case, we need our knees to not collapse inward, but to be properly placed above our feet, that the inside of our leg, the humerus is slightly, the femur is slightly opening out, and that we have this sitting sensation. Even if it's higher position just a little bit, I don't want my pelvis to be pushing forward. I want the space here to sit, to feel this openness of the quad. This is really what allowed the scarpa triangle to open up, allow the connectivity through the body so that the blood, the fluids can connect between the legs and the torso. Verifying this also through breathing, making sure our abdominal breathing is as deep and present as possible. That the sacroiliac joint is nice and open, so that the tailbone and the sacrum can be pulled gently under, creating a rippling through the spine, straightening up the spine and pushing the head towards heaven. While this allows the shoulder blade to sink, open up, and allow the chest to breathe and to spread the ribs open so that we can have a deeper inhale. And if you took a break and you want to join us, feel free to do so for a few minutes. And if you need to stop, you can do the sequence I demonstrated a few minutes ago. Turning the palm upward, rising up and down, inhaling as you go up, exhaling as you go down. Doing that 3 to 6 times, rubbing your palms, massaging the lower back, massaging the thighs, the legs, just to relax and walk around a little bit, take a little bit of a break. For those of you who are still comfortable, we're continuing. The game is not to hold as long as you can. The idea is to stay in the posture as long as you're comfortable. If there's a little bit of discomfort, try to find a way to relax and release it. If it becomes too uncomfortable, then take a break. If you feel that the upper body is good, but it's your legs that are a little bit weak, you can do this seated as well. Just make sure you're properly seated on your sit bone and find the upper body position, almost like if you're playing the piano, and just stay into that position, allowing the chi to circulate through your body. And smiling, as usual. Essential. If you're not smiling, the chi is a little shyer. Doesn't really want to be there as much. If we're smiling, relaxed, then the chi can really flourish and open up. Good. And so, in order to finish, allowing our arms to open up towards the side, bringing the fingers facing each other, palm up, inhale, rotating the palm facing down, exhale, and opening. Inhale, exhale, down towards the feet, deep into the ground. Inhale, exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, Keeping the legs extended. Exhale, allowing your hands to come down, connecting through the hips, the lower body, the feet into the ground, and gently rubbing the palms together. Tapping a little bit the arms, the shoulders, if you have a little bit of tension in this area. Lower back, hips, legs. Just to relax. And walk around, take a little bit of a break. We did about 20 minutes, I guess. So, very good. If you're able to do the 20 minutes, excellent. If not, you'll be able to build into it bit by bit. It's not something that you need to do instantly. It takes time to practice, to integrate. If you're able to do even just 5 minutes at first, it's very good. And then gradually you'll be able to grow and build, especially if you're not used to standing practice. Any question on this? How was it? Comments? Let me know in the chat. Just verify something quickly here as you guys can write stuff down. Good. How is this? Bring this a little further. 40 seconds behind. Hopefully that'll be better. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm kind of talking to myself, trying to adjust the visibility of the window I have for the YouTube stream. That seems to be a little better. Still a little behind, but better. All right. So, no question, no comments? All right, let's keep moving. We'll get into the sixth posture I mentioned a little bit earlier. And what I'll do, I'll put a timer this time so that it's a little easier for everyone. We'll be doing only 1 minute, and even with just 1 minute per posture, that will be a little difficult for some of you. So be mindful, I'm not there with you, so I don't know if you're not doing the exercise properly. So it's a bit more difficult for me to tell you relax your shoulder if you're too tense up, because I don't see you. So few rules just to remember: always do this in a relaxed way. If you feel you're building up too much tension, just relax and take a break. Never force. It should be as light and soft as possible. And if after 20 seconds you start to feel a burning pain or too much tension, just relax and take a break and move into the next posture when we do so. It's quite similar to the standing we do in our Chen style. Oh, great. Yeah, the principle of standing are the same. There are a lot of posture that do exist. This Shaolin system has quite a lot of them. Professor Lin's teacher had a few different students, and apparently none of them really got the same teaching exactly. So there's a lot of variation that do exist. The idea is not so much the doing a ton of posture. The idea is really to find a posture to relax into and use the effect of it, so that you can work out different part of the body and have a better understanding of how our body can be balanced into that notion of tensegrity. For those of you who have been following me since the beginning of those live broadcasts, after set 2, I did 1 or 2 classes on this, using the movement and stopping inside to kind of see where were the posture that we could use and train. Because movement is nothing else than a series of posture that follow each other, and posture is nothing else than the pause within a movement. It's the same, and ideally, you should feel the same intensity of qi while you're moving as you do after doing 20 minutes of posture. We do 20 minutes of posture so that we can start to move and feel the same intensity. And we move so that we can be a lot more relaxed when we hold posture for a long time. The two of them are not different training. They're two sides of training the human body. The human body is the same for everyone. They have different qualities, they have their plus and their minuses, their strengths and weaknesses, if you will. And so understanding the benefits and the shortcoming of each type of training is essential if we really want to build our body and develop our own skills to the further extent that we can. But in order for doing that, we need to start and take small step bit by bit, because it's by doing small things that we achieve a big one. If we try to do just a big thing, it's too much. We can't. We're humans. So 1 minute per posture. We'll have 6 postures. Before we start doing it with the timer, I'll explain those 6 different postures. We've already seen one, which is Wuji, or just the neutral position, if you will, where we are standing with our arms naturally on the side. From there, similar to the first movement of set 1, we will allow our arm to rise. We'll keep the palm just slightly above the line of the shoulder. This because it helps to sink the shoulder blade and keep the connection through the arm as our arms are floating. If our arms are here, there's a bit more tension and the upper trapezius is a little bit more engaged. And because most people nowadays are too close like this, it's a bit more difficult and more difficult to get into the proper posture here. Whereas if we allow our arms to rise, all of a sudden we can start to feel that heaviness through the back sinking, and then we can find this position where our arms are floating at shoulder height. So this is the first posture, or the second posture, I should say. The third posture will maintain the same positioning from the shoulders up to the elbow, and we'll simply allow the forearm to rotate, bringing our palm facing each other, almost like we're holding a tree between our palm, or a big column, while there's another big column that goes all the way around us. From here, after holding it, our palm will go back down and we'll bring our hands closer right in front of our collarbone, the middle finger barely touching each other, which will allow us to have this expansion of the elbow, allowing the placement of the shoulder blades in the back, opening up the shoulder well even better, and making sure that the position here, we didn't go too far back to try to manage and balance the arm, but really open up the arm as much as possible before we open our wings and fly away, having our arm extended on both sides. After holding this posture also for a minute, we will bring our arms back forward in front of the shoulder, let them sink to about a 30-degree angles towards the ground to release any tension from the shoulder, to go down towards the tip of the fingers into the ground before we close off and go back into Wuji. So let's do this. If while we are doing it, you start to feel any type of tension that becomes unbearable, just bring your arms back towards the front, sink them down to your side, and stay and go back in Wuji to let any tension flow from the arm down towards the finger and into the ground. That should be all right. Never try to hold it, especially if there's sharp pain. Just stop, take a break. If it's just a little bit of ache, you're the judge to know if it's too much or no. So whenever you need, you take a break. I can't tell you yes or no. I don't see you. So let's get going. Again, feet parallel, shoulder width apart. Gently rocking yourself front and back so we can feel the right positioning. Finding the center of the feet, the arms naturally hanging on our side. Abdominal breathing, thoracic breathing, feeling the chi reaching the palm. and relaxing. Continue. I'm just going to raise the volume of my timer here so I can hear it well. There we go. And simply observe how your body is feeling. Bring the palm facing behind you on the inhale, allowing your arm to rise to shoulder height, hands just a little bit above, so that we have that nice sinking of the shoulder blade, which connects the arm with the shoulders and the torso, and finding this floatiness. From here, rotating through the forearm, bringing the palm facing each other, feeling the difference in the sensation of qi through the body, while maintaining the shoulders relaxed, the upper trapezius relaxed, feeling the connection passing through the back, the connectivity between the two arms, connecting through the shoulder blades, the spine, the neck. Maintaining the alignment from the center of the head by way down to the center of the feet. Turning the palm facing down, bringing the hands in front of the collarbone, middle finger gently touching, rolling and really opening up the shoulder well, feeling how the elbows are actually kind of pushing on the outside to open up the upper part of the lung, receiving the rising of the qi through the body, reaching the shoulders all the way to the palm. Gently opening the arms from the elbows, spreading our wings out to the side, and finding the right position between the thumb and the pinky to have the feeling almost like if our wings are wings of a plane that are starting to lift us up. Fingers are stretching out and floating on top. Finding the balance between long 7, small intestine 3, Dumai and Renmai. How the positioning of our wrists, forearms affect the movement of qi through the body. Bringing the hands align with the shoulders in front again, and then gently pushing, sinking the qi back into the lower abdomen, feeling the sinking in front of the body, connecting the fingers with the ground and letting any tension from the shoulder flow downward through the arms into the ground. Gently landing after our flight. And bring the arms back to the side. Gently rubbing the palms together. Softly tapping the shoulders, the arms, to relax. Massaging the base of the neck if you have to, the upper trapezius, the lower back and the legs if you need to as well, just to relax up a little bit more. So let me turn this off for now. Before doing a second round of it, we'll play a little bit with the different sensation of qi that are associated with it, and then we'll go back into the posture to hopefully feel it being more alive, lighter, more connected. So the first aspect we'll do, which if you've been following me for a while, you've done with me before, we want the rising of the qi from the earth coming through the feet, supporting our arms as we inhale, and sinking as we exhale. Feeling this rising of the qi almost like water surrounding us, lifting the arm to find this sensation of buoyancy. Gently feeling how this is basically the beginning before we reach the posture, where we want the qi to follow so we can float and hold the posture without effort. But for now, we just allow it to come and go, like the waves on the beach. As we inhale, feeling the rising, filling up. And as we exhale, feeling the sinking towards the feet into the ground. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. And if it becomes harder to let your arms go down because the thickness seems to be bigger, good. Inhale, feel the lightness, almost like if your arms are being sucked upward. And on the exhale, gently sinking it down. On your next inhale, we'll keep the ends up a little bit. Feel the floatiness sensation being there. From this rising, connecting towards heaven, turning the palm and feeling this roundness, this big column of energy that's passing through you and between your arms. Feeling this expansion present. Feeling that your back is also involved. It's not just the front between your arms and the front of your body, but also the outside of your arms towards the back, like if there's a big circle all around you as well as between your hands, between your arms, through your body. There's multiple circle happening at the same time, or I should say multiple column. And turning your palm down, allowing the arm to sink again. Up. Your next inhale, going up. Feeling again this rising, sinking, allowing this lightness flow through your body. On your next inhale, bringing your hand closer, almost like if you're resting on the edge of a window or of a very high counter and you're about to push and get out of it. Or if you're inside a pool and you want to get up on the edge, put your hand, you start to have this slight downward pressure while you feel your spine and the top of your head rising on top of it. Feeling the rising of the chi through your body, connecting with the head and up, and spreading the strength through the arm, supporting you. On your next exhale, pushing your hands down close to your body, towards the feet, deep into the ground. Inhale, up, all the way up to the nose. Exhale, feeling the connection in front of your collarbone, feeling your arms resting on top of it. Exhale, letting the chi sink through the body and down. Allowing your arm to rise to the side, reach shoulder level, extending outwards, stretching your fingers out. Up, allowing it to rise, heels lift, and sinking back down. Again, inhale, rising this time all the way up. And on the exhale, feeling the moment your heel lands on the ground, your hands are pressing against the thickness of the air, resting at about shoulder height. Feeling the expansion, the openness through the shoulders all the way to the tip of the fingers. And exhaling, bringing your arms down, connecting with the ground. Inhaling back up again. Up, landing, resting on top of the chi. Feeling the upper trapezius being completely relaxed. Feeling middle, lower trapezius simply maintaining the shoulder blades in place with the rhomboids, and so that the deltoids can be more relaxed, so that the shoulders can be open, that the chi can reach all the way to the tip of the fingers as your fingers elongate, stretch far out. And exhale, letting your arms come back down. And taking a moment here. Stay in that position. I see someone wrote something in the chat. Let me just check. Yes, Zanzuan is the classical term for these type of exercise. Often translated as standing like a tree, although it's not quite the right translation. But yeah, doesn't really matter. The image and the feeling is what's essential. So let's do this sequence again, 1 minute each. Remain into that good sensation, and we will move forward again. Starting from Wuji. We'll do this one more time and finish the class on this. So keeping your awareness first into your feet, finding your central point, then moving your awareness through your legs, making sure that the legs are relaxed. Knee just slightly bent, finding the right height for you to do the exercise. Opening up the quad, the Scarpa triangle, sitting the pelvis properly above the legs, opening up the sacroiliac joint, allowing the spine to move freely, the shoulder blades to move freely to open up the shoulders, the connection of the head towards the sky, smiling, relaxing. Turning the palm facing behind you, and on your next inhale, feeling the floatiness of the arm floating on top of the chi all the way to the shoulders. Maintaining the back straight, elongated, making sure you're not bending the spine, but feeling the spine stretching, giving you the feeling that you're about to jump above something or dive into a pool. Keeping the alignment from Baihui, the top of the head, with the center of the feet. Making sure you don't overstretch your arm forward, which would disconnect the shoulder and create a lot of tension, but maintaining the shoulder aligned. Your hands are a little closer to your body, even though your arms are straight. Turning the palm facing each other, feeling the roundness of the energy, this big giant column connecting you between heaven and earth. If you're giving a big hug to someone. Bringing the palm facing down in front of the collarbones, resting on top of the energy, feeling the openness through the upper chest, sinking deeper of the shoulder blades, the expansion of the chi outwards towards the elbows, and feeling the supportive strength and sensation that's there. Opening from the elbows, keeping the openness of the shoulder blade, the shoulder well, elongating the arm, finding the right alignment through the wrist all the way to the tip of the fingers, opening up your wings and flying away. And gently bringing your arms forward again, allowing the arms to sink, letting the chi go down, back towards the lower dantian. Hands reaching below the belly button, fingers pointing down, shoulders open. Don't close your shoulder in, but keep your hands just on the outside of the legs so that your shoulders are open. You can release any tension from the shoulders down the fingers into the ground. Walk through the feet, absorbing the fresh chi, rising through the spine all the way up and filling your body at the same time. And allowing your arms to come back to the side. Taking a last moment to enjoy the sensation. And gently rubbing the palms together. Good. You can massage the shoulders a little bit if you need to. Lower back, legs, just to relax. Good. Oh, an hour already. Excellent. How's everyone doing? Walk around a little bit if you need to, have a seat, and let me know how it's going. How are your arms? How much lightness or heaviness do you feel? What's going on? Talk to me. Let me know. Really enjoy this practice. I hope it stays on YouTube a while. I'll put it on high rotation. Excellent, Beth. And we'll also go a lot deeper into it through the teacher training because it's at the core of building the chi. So we'll definitely play a lot more with that. But yes, this one will stay for a little bit. Good. Excellent. So, very simple practice. Particularly the sixth movement we did at the end really helped to open up the shoulder, settle or become more connected through the shoulder blade, how the shoulder well opens up, how we can play with this to release. To give you an example, when I was first doing it and I was reaching about, I think I was doing 3 minutes per posture at that time. Often once I reach here, I had a little bit of numbness going particularly along the lung channel and towards my thumb for about a minute when I was starting this position, and then after that it would open up and feel a lot better. So it was just showing me that by improving the posture, I had a lot more, a much better blood circulation that was happening. That's a few years ago. I don't remember how many. Anyway, that was present, and now when I'm doing it, I don't have it anymore. So if you have sensation like that, know that it's normal, that as you're learning to do it, there will be transformation that will happen. What's suggested, what we did today was 1 minute per posture. Practice it for a while. Once you feel that it's very easy to do, you can bump it up to 1.5 minutes, and then gradually go to 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's said that you can go all the way up to 10 minutes per posture, which would make about a 1 hour training. I would say that's not at the reach of everyone, unless you're really a nut job like I am and spend 2-3 hours a day practicing Qigong. But already reaching 3 minutes will make it a half-hour practice, 20-minute practice, sorry. 5 minutes will make it a half-hour practice if you're holding each posture. And what you can do if holding a longer period of time is difficult, but you have enough stamina to do maybe 2 rounds of 1 minute or 3 rounds of 1 minute, then this way you can do the set a little bit longer, gain some great benefits from the practice itself, and gradually this will transform and improve, and then you'll be able to do 1 round of 2 minutes and then another round of 1 minute, for example. So you can really play with that to have more or less 20-minute practice when you do standing at first is an excellent goal to look for. Don't push it, don't force yourself, just go bit by bit until you build the ability, because what allows us to maintain that is finding the tensegrity, the balance between the muscle group and also some of the more stabilization muscle that are deeper that were forgotten sometime from bad habits of bad posture. So we need to strengthen them a little bit, which is also one of the effects of those practice. Is the chi flowing through that make me feel my fingers like fat sausage? That's more a question of blood and fluid. The feeling of chi can be present. The question is, do your fingers really get a little bit swollen, or is it really just kind of a very strong sensation without any swollenness? If your fingers are actually a little bit swollen, that's usually an issue with the returns of the fluids, and that will adjust itself with practice. If there's no actual physiological change and it really just feels like the finger is really thick and buzzing, then in this case, yes, it might be the chi. And that feeling also will be there for a while and then will kind of transform and become something else. So depending on how you feel, it might be the chi, it might be more the blood and the fluids. Either way, don't focus on the sensation per se, just allow it to be and allow it to transform through your practice, and you'll discover more things. Can give you all the surprises, otherwise it's not as fun. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you again next week. If you enjoyed the class, click that little like button so that YouTube knows it's a good idea to share it with other people. If you haven't subscribed, then subscribe and click the little bell so you know when the live classes are happening. They're Monday and Wednesday at the same time. I'll say just 11 a.m. Pacific time in the US. Therefore, you can search for your own time zone, which would be 2 Eastern and 8 Central Europe. Yeah, so very happy you guys were here live with me. If you're watching this on replay, leave your comment and I'll be happy to reply to you in the comment section. So I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Ciao.